You've picked your agent framework, spent 3 weeks building, and now you're staring at a demo that works locally but crumbles the second a real user touches it. The framework wasn't the bottleneck you thought it was. So the real question isn't which one is more powerful, it's which one gets you to production before your runway or your patience runs out. Let's be blunt about what these two things actually are. LangChain is a sprawling toolkit. It gives you chains, agents, memory, retrievers, and integrations with basically every model and vector store on the planet. CrewAI is opinionated and narrow by design. It hands you a mental model, agents with roles, tasks they own, and a crew that coordinates them. And it asks you to think in terms of a team of specialists rather than a graph of function calls. That difference in philosophy is the entire story of which one ships faster. Here's what the first week looks like on CrewAI. You define a researcher agent, a writer agent, and a reviewer agent. You give each a role, a goal, and a backstory. Then you wire up sequential or hierarchical task delegation. Within an afternoon, you have something that reads like a functioning team. For a well-defined workflow, say, pull data, summarize it, draft a report, check it. You're demoing by day 2. The abstraction does the heavy lifting, and you spend your time on prompts and task descriptions instead of plumbing. LangChain's first week is different. You'll spend more time understanding the primitives, what a runnable is, how LCL pipes components together, when to reach for an agent executor versus LangGraph for anything with real branching or loops. The learning curve is steeper, and the documentation has historically lagged the pace of change. But here's the payoff you feel around week 3, when your requirements get weird. Conditional routing, human-in-the-loop approval steps, custom retry logic, streaming partial results to a UI. LangChain and LangGraph already have a seam for it. You're extending, not fighting the framework. And that's exactly where CrewAI's speed advantage starts to invert. The moment your workflow stops looking like a tidy assembly line, the opinionated structure becomes a cage. You want an agent to loop back and replan based on a tool's output? You want to inject a validation gate that halts everything and waits for a human? You want fine-grained control over token budgets per agent? Now you're writing workarounds against abstractions that assumed your problem was simpler than it is. The thing that saved you in week 1 costs you in week 6. So map it to the 90-day window honestly. If your product is a bounded, repeatable pipeline, content generation, structured data extraction, a support triage flow with clear stages, CrewAI will very likely get you to a shipped, maintainable product faster, and your team will understand the code 6 months later. If you're building something with genuine stateful complexity, unpredictable branching, or deep integration requirements, LangChain plus LangGraph pays back its steeper start with a ceiling that's much, much higher. You lose time up front and win it back in the messy middle. One more thing that decides this in practice: observability and debugging. When a multi-agent system misbehaves, you need to see exactly what each agent said and why. Langsmith gives LangChain users a mature tracing story, which matters enormously when you're triaging a production incident at 2 a.m. CrewAI's tooling is improving fast, but it's younger. Factor that into your ship and maintain equation, not just your build the demo one. So it ships faster in 90 days? For a clean, well-scoped workflow, CrewAI, comfortably. For anything with real complexity and a long life ahead of it, LangChain earns its keep. Pick based on the shape of your problem, not the hype, and build the ugly edge case first, because that's the part that decides whether you actually ship.